Growth or feelings, which one is most important when it comes to raising our kids? And that is a loaded question. One is not more important than the other. What I want to talk about today are ways that we can support our child's emotions in a way that inspires growth. Children are great by their very nature, and we have the privilege and responsibility of raising them. It can be challenging at times. Let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Cynthia Armstrong. I'm a general and a special education teacher. I also homeschooled my own children for 5 years. And what I talk about are the things I've researched and I've studied, that I've implemented and applied, finding what works for me, my children, and my students. And I want to share with you in trying to help you to overcome some of the challenges that you may have. So, emotions and growth. We can work with our children's emotions in a way that provides growth, or in a way that disempowers them and stunts their growth. So, children have big emotions. And all emotions are great. They're part of who we are. We know when our children get big emotions, we can feel big emotions come up in us. And so it can be really tricky because we're trying to work our emotions and help our children with their emotions. And so there's so much that can go into this, so many nuances. And so I just want to give a couple basics that you can consider and think about that might help you determine where you are in helping your child, supporting your child's emotions in a way that promotes that growth. And so number one is, do we allow our child to feel empowered? Do we allow our child to be responsible for their own feelings, or do we feel like we're responsible for our child's feelings? And this might look like, oh no, they're sad. Oh, you're so sad. How can I help you? What do we need to do? Do you need this? Do you need that? Can I give you a hug? Oh. And so there's this energy, this feeling behind it that is worried about it, that is trying to solve it for our child. And we kind of present them with the feeling like, oh, that feeling's not okay. If we do that a lot, then it goes, and mom needs to help me with these feelings. Dad needs to help me. An adult has to make this better for me. And so when we acknowledge feelings, let it be not flat or disconnected, but just kind of matter of fact. Oh, wow, you are having some big feelings right now. You're feeling, it looks like you might be feeling angry or sad. And we can even help them label more specifically if we have that knowledge. And we can see how they respond, because often they'll say, no, I'm not sad, I'm mad. Or they'll tell me if I'm off. But it opens up that acknowledgement, and it's just matter of fact. It's not a, oh no, there's a problem, I've got to solve it. And it's not, yep, you got a problem, suck it up. It's that happy middle ground where it's matter of fact and we acknowledge it. And that kind of gives them that responsibility back. And we can even let them know, yeah, I have hard days. And if like it's peeling them off when they're going to school, they don't want to go to school, or they don't want to do a chore, yeah, I feel that way sometimes too. I've had those struggles before too. And let them know that, you know, even adults have that sometimes. But that doesn't mean, okay, yep, it's a struggle, therefore we're just going to stop, or somebody else is going to do it for me. So that's where we're going to continue forward. We're going to ask questions that are empowering. And questions that are empowering are not ones where we come in with the solutions. We want to guide our child to notice their feelings, to notice that how their actions and their thoughts play into those feelings. And when it's as an example, going to school. Like every time as a parent, I've been on the parent side and I've been on the teacher side of my child or a student not wanting to go into school that day. And sometimes it's a student who feels that way often, and sometimes it's just every now and again. So we might ask them questions like, like, oh, this seems to be pretty hard. Tell me about what's going on. Because we don't want to totally leave them high and dry. We want to be questioning, inquisitive. We want to know, is this just something, it's like, I just don't want to, or is there's a bullying going on? Is there something that really needs our attention? And if it's just something, and it's not just, because feelings are feelings, right? But if it's something they can handle on their own, like just not wanting to go to school, just struggling, like, oh, I don't like my teacher, there's somebody who said something to me, which is not bullying. It's because they interpreted it a certain way, or they're not allowing space for other people's feelings. And so those are things they're capable of handling on their own. And then we provide that support with those questions that we might ask them. So, what adventures have you been on with that person or in that situation? And I love adventures because, when we read stories, when we watch movies, when we do those things, there's always the part where, oh, it seems impossible. The main character isn't going to make it. They've tried multiple things and it's not working. But as they continue, at the end, at least of the ones I like to watch, there's a resolution, and the character is stronger, more empowered, more capable than they were at the beginning of the journey. They've had growth, and that's what we really want. And so we'll, if it's going to school, again, we can ask them, I'm excited to hear what adventures you have today and how you come through those adventures. Or at the end of the day, oh, I'm excited to hear about your adventures. What would you like to tell me about those adventures? And then we can strategically ask questions that empower rather than disempower them. We might ask, what did you do to try to overcome that challenge? And whether that challenge is our emotions or an academic skill or an interpersonal skill, we can ask them, what did you try to overcome the challenges? And then we can ask them more questions. How did that work for you when you tried that? How did it feel when you tried that? And we're going to just keep asking them these questions. And sometimes we can ask that same question more than once to get a more detailed answer. Because, like, children, they like to give us blah, blanket statements. How was school? It was okay. They don't give us the details. And so asking the same question again, or asking it in a different way, can help them really let them know, no, we're listening and we really want you to think about this because you're capable. And then we can continue to ask questions like, what did you learn from that? Or what might you try tomorrow? I like to say might because it can put pressure on kids. What are you going to try tomorrow? What's going to be different, and, where we kind of expect this. But what might you try tomorrow? What is something you could try? And just getting them to think about it and not giving them answers. And if we do get to the point where we want to give them some answers, they're really struggling, then we're going to ask permission. I have an idea. Would you like to hear that idea? Oh, there was a couple things I tried when I was in a similar situation. Would you like to hear about that? And if they say no, then however much we want to share, please accept that answer as no. So these are just a few of the basic things that we can support our child's emotions in a growth way. All right? Remember, children are great by their very natures, and it's our privilege and our responsibility to raise them. Hi friends, Cynthia Armstrong here. Thanks for joining us today. Please make sure that you subscribe to our channel so you can see when new videos come out, and like this one. It is such a responsibility and a challenge to raise great kids, and we are here to help you along that journey to make it as enjoyable and fun and fulfilling as possible. Please check out our website, www.raisinggreatkids.net, and I will leave that in the description below.